Slender the Arrival is a horror game that holds a special place in my heart. It was one of, if not the first horror game I ever played when I was a kid, and it used to scare me so bad that I would give up as soon as I entered the house in the prologue. The first time I seen this game, I was with my brother, and he had just recently downloaded the demo for Slender the Arrival on Xbox 360 using his mobile data. I watched him play through the prologue, and the entire time I was peeking through my fingers because I was so scared of what might happen. Then, after a long time, Halloween came around, and my brother had an idea. I'm gonna buy the full game and we're gonna beat the whole thing tonight. So, I went trick-or-treating with my siblings, and the whole time I was anticipating Slender Man. Just waiting till we could finally play the full game and experience the true terror this game had to offer. Then, finally, it was time. We all sat on our beds, lights off, basically pitch black. We booted up the game and immediately were struck with this eerie sounding menu that was already terrifying me. The prologue came and went since we had played it so much. Then, the 8 pages. The first new experience of the game. Maybe 30 minutes was spent on this level trying to figure out where the pages were, but eventually, it was done. Then, into the abyss. And let's just say, this level would not get beaten for months. This level terrified all of us so much that we couldn't even get all the generators. We couldn't even get 3. After months had gone by, I got home from school and my brother tells me that his girlfriend beat the level pretty much immediately. So yeah, I guess we were all just a bunch of The rest of the game went somewhat smoothly, apart from Homestead, which we got stuck on for probably longer than Into the Abyss. But anyway, this game left a huge impression on me as a kid. And after I grew up and became more of a man, I would go back and end up playing through the game on my own, even getting the Platinum trophy on PlayStation. And something I've always wanted to do, but never gotten around to, was speedrunning it. Which brings us to today's video. Can I beat the world record holder in the 2015 version Easy Glitchless category in just a month? Well, probably not, but I'm going to give it my best effort, and at the very least, I want to get into the top 10. So from October 3rd, which is when I started, to October 31st, I'm going to speedrun this game every single day and try to hit some milestones along the way. What are the milestones? I'll show you. 1. Get a top 50 time. 2. Get a top 25 time. 3. Get a top 10 time. 4. Get a top 5 time. And 5, 6, and 7 is 3rd, 2nd, 1st. Will I be able to hit the top 10? Well, let's take a look at how my first day of attempts went, and maybe that'll give you an idea. In my first attempt, I went into it without watching the current world record just to see how well I actually know the game, and if I'm being honest, I think I did pretty decent. Other than messing up my stamina use, getting all 8 pages, and dying on Into the Abyss, I actually got a pretty decent time. Especially after not playing this game for a really long time. In the prologue, my pathing wasn't great, and again, my stamina use was horrendous. After getting all the generators on Into the Abyss, I died at the elevator and had to restart, and my pathing in the homestead was very bad, but a pretty decent first attempt, I would say. With a time of 38 minutes and 31 seconds, I placed number 52 on the leaderboard, just 2 spots away from my first milestone. Before starting my second attempt, I decided to watch a speedrun to see where I could make some improvements to my pathing. And 18 minutes later, I was a new man. I soaked up all the information and immediately went into my second run. Right off the bat, my pathing and stamina use was much better. In my first run, I kept forgetting if I was supposed to do something else first, which led to some mistakes, but this time I knew exactly where to go. I was a little slow in finding the flashlight, but other than that, the prologue went fairly smoothly, and I was beating my previous time by 15 seconds. It's not a lot, but it's progress. Now in the 8 pages, I found out that you don't actually have to get all 8 pages. In fact, you only need 4. So I walked from one page right to another close by, and just like that, I had all 4. And now I only needed to walk into Slenderman and go to the next level. With this strategy, I saved myself a whopping 8 minutes and 3 seconds. A significant improvement from my last run. For Into the Abyss, all I needed to beat my previous time was to hopefully get some good RNG on the generator spawns, and more importantly, not die. 1, 2, and 3 generators later, I'm running away from Kate and Slenderman spawns right on top of me. Thankfully, I died not long after I started, but still, this was a very unfortunate setback. But on attempt 2, I managed to grab all the generators I needed before getting tackled by Kate and made my way to the elevator, finishing Into the Abyss and beating my previous time by 10 minutes, 57 seconds. Even after all the mistakes I've made, I still managed to keep a major time improvement over my first run. I got to Homestead and beat it quickly, then did the window level, which I also beat fairly quickly. ran through the final level, and finished with a time of 25 minutes, 26 seconds. A whopping 13 minutes faster than my first run. And just like that, I already reached my first milestone of hitting top 50. Riding off the high of my PB, I decided I would do another run right away. I managed to get good RNG on Into the Abyss, also beating it without dying, and by the time I got to Homestead, I was already 2 minutes 50 seconds ahead of my last run. When I was looking for the key to the gate, I somehow managed to miss it, which ended up costing me 37 seconds. But the rest of the run was about even with my last, so I improved my time by 2 minutes, making my new position on the leaderboard number 34. Just 3 attempts in, and I'm already close to hitting my second milestone. Attempt 4 had a really rough start, but I was able to pull it back around at the end. Then attempt 5 had a pretty good start, but as it went on, it just got worse and worse. Which brings us to attempt 6. I hit a new PB in the prologue, I hit a new PB in the 8 pages, I hit a new PB on Into the Abyss, I hit a new PB on Homestead, I hit a new PB on Windows, and I hit a new PB on Fire. An absolutely incredible run that finished with a time of 21 minutes 24 seconds, putting me at number 19 on the leaderboard. After just 1 day of attempts, I managed to blow past not 1 but 2 of my personal milestones. But something that this run showed me is just how much RNG there is in this game. On the 8 pages, you have to get lucky enough for there to be 4 pages close together, otherwise it's gonna go slowly. On Into the Abyss, you need all 5 generators to spawn on the same side, otherwise it will go slowly. And on Homestead, you need the jerry can and gate key to spawn as close as possible to shave away even more time. But even if you get all perfect spawns, there is still one last thing you have to worry about. Slenderman. As shown in a previous run, Slenderman can just straight up spawn right on top of you. I'm pretty sure this doesn't happen often, but it's still a possibility that can ruin your run if you're unlucky. All of these things, plus a few other RNG elements, all add up to be a lot. Even the runner that got the world record in this category has over 11,000 runs. It took over 11,000 runs to get the RNG for an albeit not perfect run, but damn near it. The next attempt was a horrible run, however, I did score a few more PBs, and we don't talk about attempt 8. In attempt 9, I managed to get almost perfect RNG on Into the Abyss, which is really a shame since the rest of the run was just so bad. Especially towards the end of the game where I got extremely unlucky and died to Charlie on my way to the end of the game. Attempt 10 was off to an incredible start. A new PB on Prologue, Into the Abyss, and Homestead. At this point, I pretty much knew I was going to blow past my current PB since the rest of the game is so easy. Then, Windows. I thought I was going to be able to fit through the door, but unfortunately, I was wrong. Then, of course, Slenderman spawns right on top of me. And after finishing the level, I'd completely lost my 38-second lead. By the end of the run, I managed to get back another 2 seconds, meaning I could have been 40 seconds ahead if I hadn't died. And since I was so upset, I decided that that was going to be the end of the day too. Well, after one last run. 47.7 seconds ahead. Even better than what my last run could have been. I finished my run and ended with a time of 20 minutes and 39 seconds, placing me at number 14 on the leaderboard. Now I'm finished for the day. At this point, I've done so many runs of this game that my pathing is fairly on point now. I just have to keep restarting till I get good times on 8 pages and Into the Abyss. Reset after reset, and I finally got a promising run. Prologue and the 8 pages, I barely saved much time, but then I get to Into the Abyss. I'm running through, hitting gen after gen, and managed to get a pretty decent gen spawn, but unfortunately I didn't play it out as best I could, and managed to get grabbed by Kate, costing me some time. But still, I got to the elevator and finished with a new level PB 24 seconds faster than my previous. The rest of the run went smoothly, and I finished with a time of 20 minutes 28 seconds. A new PB, but not good enough to get a better spot on the leaderboard. Once again, reset after reset, I managed to get a good start and finished with a new PB of 20 minutes and 16 seconds. Now up to this point, all my PBs have only really been little improvements. My current PB as of writing this section of the script is still 2016. It's been 7 days total, and I'm about 2 minutes away from world record, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it's a lot. Attempt after attempt, reset after reset, and I still can't manage to save lots of time in 8 pages and Into the Abyss in the same run. I've talked about it before, but now I'm going to really talk about it. What about this speedrun is heavily dependent on RNG? Well, let's start with the prologue. The flashlight and the key both have 6 and 5 different spawn locations respectively. The flashlight is found on the first floor and can spawn on the table in the dining room, the table in the TV room, a table in the piano room, the kitchen counter and table, and lastly in the radio room. The best spawn based on my routing is the dining room table. If it doesn't spawn there, then the TV room or piano room will do. Otherwise, I'm resetting. If you're looking to get the absolute best possible time in this level, then the best strategy is to look through the dining room window when approaching the house to see if the flashlight is sitting on the table. If it is, you grab it. If not, you ignore it, check the TV room, and reset if it's not there. There is a 16.67% chance that the flashlight will spawn in the best possible spot. But after you grab the flashlight, you need to grab the keys next. Keys will always spawn on the second floor in the master bedroom, master bathroom, storage room, hallway bathroom, or guest bedroom. Once you get to the top of the steps, you want to immediately go right and check both the storage and guest bedroom first, then the hallway bathroom. If the key is not in any of these spots, just reset. The best possible spawn is in the guest bedroom due to its close proximity to the door, allowing you to grab and head to Kate's room quickly. There's a 20% chance the key will spawn in the desired spot. The chance of getting the best flashlight spawn and key spawn is 3.33%, or about 3 out of 100 runs will be perfect RNG in the prologue. Now for the 8 pages. There are 4 different player spawns and 9 different page spawns, meaning one spot will be empty while every other spot has a page. As for which spawn is the best, I would say either C or D. On this map, sites 7 and 2 are big sites, which means they are harder to find the page in. Other sites can be a car, tent, or an outhouse, while the big sites are a building with multiple rooms and an area with shipping containers and barrels you have to look around. So ideally you spawn at C or D, where you don't need to go to one of these buildings. I'm not sure if there is a right answer here or if it's personal preference, but that is my preference. There's an 11% chance that you don't get your page when going to your 4 sites, I think, and have to reset. There's also a 25% chance you get the spawn you want, or in my case 50% since I like 2 spawns. So the RNG for this isn't terrible, except it really is. If my calculations were correct and there is only an 11% chance you don't get one of your pages, then I must be the most unlucky person when it comes to this game. I constantly have a missing page when I play this level, forcing me to take a longer path to another page. But whatever, as long as Slenderman always spawns after you get 4 pages, it's not bad. Except, he doesn't. Sometimes he'll spawn far from you and teleport away when you get close. Sometimes he'll spawn right on you, giving you an incredible time. Then sometimes he will just refuse to spawn for an extended period of time, ruining your run. But at least the level ends when he gets you, right? Again, no. After he catches you, he will constantly, for a random number of times, teleport you around the area until he decides that you can move on to the next level. So, to summarize, you need to get a good spawn location, you need all 4 spots you check to have a page, you need Slenderman to spawn close to you as soon as possible, and you need him to show you mercy at the end and finish the level quickly. It's a lot. But it doesn't end there, because the next level, Into the Abyss, has even more unforgiving RNG. Right off the bat, there are 4 possible spawn locations, at least that I know of. 2 on the left side and 2 on the right side. The 2 on the left are far better than the 2 on the right, so right away you get a 50-50 on whether or not you get a good spawn. Then, as you run into the mine, there's a chance your screen will go gray, slowing down the game for a few seconds, which I forgot to mention can also happen in 8 pages. So, essentially, there is a random chance your run will just lose a few seconds, because why not? Now, inside the mine. The goal is to activate 5 generators that will activate the elevator to end the level. 7 out of 18 spots will have a generator. Since the left side has a possible 11 generators, while the right side only has a possible 7, the best way to go is through the left side. Also, there's a bug where 2 generators can spawn in one spot. I personally have never seen this, but it is possible. This is the path I take every time. Going this way, you can check 5 spawn locations just in one hallway. You see these 3 rooms, the back of this big room, and if this wall is lit red, that means there's a generator in the first room upstairs. So if they all spawn in those 5 spots, you have an extremely fast Into the Abyss run. If they don't spawn in those spots, but are all still on the left side, you have an okay time. If 4 spawn on the left and 1 on the right, you basically have to reset since it's too much of a time loss. Then again, there is the chance that Slenderman spawns on top of you and you die, which completely kills the run. Also, if you grab the generators in an inefficient manner, then there's a good chance that Kate will end up tackling you to the ground, which waste some time as well. If I did my math right, there's a 27.78% chance all generators will spawn on the left. As for the chance they all spawn in the right spots, I have no idea how to calculate that. The next level is a long walk that does not have any RNG at all, you just need good pathing. Homestead is a breath of fresh air when it comes to RNG. The first instance is the jerry can, which has 2 spawn locations very close together. So even if you get the bad spawn, it's probably only a couple seconds time loss. The next instance is the gate key found past the silo, and it has 5 spawn locations. While walking back through the field, you can look over at the burnt building and see if the key spawns in one of the 2 spots in the ruins. When you first enter the area, you can check right in front of you to see if it spawns on the trailer. Then you can look a little to the left to see if it spawns in the shack. And finally, look a little more to the left to check the treehouse. The best spot is on the trailer since it's basically right in front of you as soon as you enter the area, meaning you have a 20% chance for a perfect roll. Though the shack and treehouse are not bad spawns either. The only bad spawn is the burnt house. The rest of the level has no RNG, not even Slenderman teleporting right on top of you. The next level, windows, I don't actually know a whole lot about. I don't know if the win condition is closing a certain amount of windows and doors, closing all windows and doors, or just a random timer for Slenderman to enter the house and send you to your room. If it's a certain number of windows and doors, then you have 21 possible windows and doors to be open, with X amount needed to be closed. So you can only imagine the RNG needed for this level as well. While I can't calculate it since I don't know for certain, from my experience, I'll have the level over fairly quickly in the 3rd or so room I enter, while other times, I go into every single room before Slenderman sends me to bed, so I don't know. Now for the last level, and obviously the last instances of RNG. While running to the radio tower in the burning forest, you want to take the most direct route to the tower. However, Slenderman will spawn in front of you, making you have to adjust your path, making you slower. But there's also a way to get a lot of speed when getting close to Slenderman, and I don't know how to activate it. All I know is it happened to me once, and it was awesome. Once you get to the tower, you have to find a key to a door which can spawn in 5 different places, with one very obvious best spot being right as you enter the tower. So again, another 20% chance for a perfect roll. Then, the most infuriating part of the game if you get bad RNG. While running to CR's burnt body, Charlie can seemingly randomly attack you up to 3 times. If it happens once or twice, then it's just an unfortunate time loss. But 3 times will kill you and send you back to the entrance of the tower. If you are on pace for a world record by, let's say, 15 seconds, and you get to just in front of the final door, then get killed by Charlie, then you're not going to get the world record anymore. Even just for PBs, it's so infuriating. It actually happened to me before, and it really pissed me off. All this previous good RNG and good gameplay just to lose a significant amount of time right at the end of the game if you're unlucky. With all of the 1 in whatever odds I've given, to get perfect RNG back to back is a 0.0116% chance, or about 1 in 10,000. This is not including Slenderman spawns and the entire Windows level. There's a 0.0116% chance you get a perfect run in this game, which again could get ruined by Charlie at the end of the game or Slenderman at any point. Also, this stat only applies if my math is correct. If it isn't, please let me know down in the comments. Needless to say, I don't think I'm getting a perfect run anytime soon. I might as well explain the stamina system in this game while I'm rambling about stuff. In Slender the Arrival, the player has a hidden stamina bar that lasts for, well, I don't know. Which is why I decided to run a little experiment. First, after spawning in the map, I decided to start running and time it till I run out of stamina. Assuming I had perfect timing with the timer, the result would be 41 seconds. But I wasn't perfect, so I'll say 40. Next, I wanted to see if waiting 1 second would equal 1 second of sprint, to see if it's a 1-to-1 ratio. I waited for 40 seconds, then ran till I was out of stamina, which turned out to be 40 seconds later. So it would appear that 1 second of waiting or walking equals 1 second of sprinting. Lastly, I wanted to see if waiting a minute would equal 1 minute of sprinting, which turned out to be false. So the max sprint time is 40 seconds, and to charge sprint to max would take 40 seconds, which makes a lot of sense. So why is this important? Well, up to this point, I had no idea how much sprint you actually get, so I would just walk for a while, then randomly start running. And doing this can actually cost you some time in any given run. For example, if you walk for 50 seconds and then run for 40, you've just wasted 10 seconds to walk for no reason. Knowing how the sprint system works is very beneficial to getting better times in this game. However, for some reason, this does not apply to the final level of the game. Just after writing this whole section, I actually noticed I tested this wrong. The max sprint time is about 44 seconds, not 40. My time got messed up since I ran into the mine entrance and got slowed down. Attempt 74 was on October 6th and has been my PB for a long time. Now take a guess on what attempt or day I would get my next PB on. That's right, it was attempt 248 on October 29th. Now you may be thinking, 74 attempts in 3 days, but only 248 in 26? Yeah, I will admit that I wasn't putting in as many attempts as I should have been. I ended up being a lot busier than I originally thought I would, but I'm still proud of my final time and what I accomplished. But we're not there yet. Attempt 248. First off, I want to say ignore the death counter at the bottom of the screen. It's for a different video I've been working on, and I forgot to hide it on the recording. As for the run, it was alright. It started good, then went bad, then went good again, then went bad, then at the end went good again. With better pathing on Into the Abyss and the Windows level, I could have gotten a better time, but still I'm pretty happy with how this turned out, especially since it was my first PB in 23 days. With a time of 20 minutes and 10 seconds, I'm placed at number 11, just 300 milliseconds below 10th, just barely scratching the surface of the top 10. Now that I know just how close I am to hitting another milestone, I decided that I was going to put a few more runs in for the final 2 days of October. October 30th comes around and nothing. Not a single good run. And now I'm left with only 1 day remaining. Halloween, the day that marks my first time playing the full version of Slender the Arrival so many years ago. Attempt after attempt, and finally, I get a good run. Now seeing those splits for the first half of the game, I wonder why I actually decided to finish the run. I think at that point I was just so done with resetting after Into the Abyss because I was 20 plus seconds behind, but this time I was only 4.2 seconds behind, which is time that I can definitely make up for in the Windows level. And wouldn't you know, Windows level comes around and now I'm 8.6 seconds ahead. On the Arrival, I got grabbed by Charlie once, which really freaked me out. But thankfully, I survived and made it to the end of the game, finishing with a time of 20 minutes and 4 seconds, putting me at 8th place. And for the rest of the day, I made a few more attempts, but ultimately I decided I would take 8th place. But I'm not being completely honest with you. There's something I knew about a couple of days into speedrunning this game that I have intentionally not mentioned. The runner that got first place got a time of 18 minutes and 32 seconds on the leaderboard. But he actually got 18 minutes and 55 seconds. That's because when verifying runs, the moderators will retime the run, I think for cutting out load times, but I'm not 100% sure. So my 20 minutes and 4 seconds is actually 19 minutes and 36 seconds, which puts me at 6th place, 1 spot away from my end goal of top 5. So close, yet so far away. 1 month and 323 attempts later, minus about 20 from experimenting with live split, and I hit number 6 out of 54 on the leaderboard. Now while I didn't get top 5, I got pretty damn close, and I can say for certain that I'm very proud of how far I came in this challenge of mine. Would I ever come back to speedrun this game more? Honestly, I'm not sure. I had a really fun time speedrunning the game, a lot more fun than I originally thought I would have, but this game is also extremely unfair with the amount of RNG involved. When I first started out and watched the world record runner, I saw that he was able to grab things from far away, which confused me. So I left a comment on his video in hopes he would reply, and he did. He told me that it was in fact angles I had to get right, but he also said this: even if this run is beaten, I won't touch this category again because RNG is brutal. At the time, I didn't realize it, but after playing this speedrun so many times, I fully understand now just how brutal the RNG is, as he said. Almost every level in the game has some ridiculous RNG with a chance of random BS happening and ruining your run. So maybe later down the line, if I ever get the urge to run this game again, I would love to try and get in the top 5. But for now, my love for speedrunning has just really started, and the only thing on my mind right now is going for a good record in the other games I love playing. I'm not sure how this video will perform on YouTube since the only videos I've had do really good have been video essays. But at the same time, all the videos I've made have sort of been passion projects, and a way to prove to myself that I can make something good. So no matter what, I will keep making these videos. If you've made it this far and are thinking about subscribing, then I would like to quickly mention plans for future videos. I intend on making more speedrun videos like this for Bioshock and maybe Dark Souls. I've thought about making Kaizo Mario videos, and I will also be making more video essays on all kinds of games as well as challenge runs. If any of that interests you, I would appreciate a subscription. But other than that, I'd like to say thank you very much for watching, and I hope you all have a great day. Goodbye.